Well, hello once again, and thank you so much for joining me here at this absolutely brilliant location. Now, I'm set for an absolutely amazing adventure under a brilliant night sky here tonight because I'm planning on staying here all night. I've just got here, the sun has just set over in the west, and the lake here, and this is an old railway bridge. I've shot here before, but the last time I shot here, there was no water. It was just totally out of the water. This time, I've got a fair bit of water, as you can see here, and I'm going to take a number of different types of shots. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I'm going to do a time lapse, and I'm hoping to do a day to night time lapse tomorrow morning. I'm also going to do some star trails, probably facing southeast, I think, and I'll probably also do some tracking. I brought the tracker with me again, so I can't wait to get into it. So let's go. Now, as a nightscape photographer, this is one of the most fantastic experiences you can have. Just relaxing here under a blue hour twilight sky. A little bit of breeze at the moment, but it's not anything to worry about too much, I don't think. And I can just, there's no one around, I can just relax here and have a good look around before it gets properly dark. I can set up some compositions that I'm going to shoot later on, just in this light. And I'm excited because I know when the sun rises over in the east tomorrow morning, I'm hoping there's a little bit of cloud there, but if I can get that time lapse to work the way that I think it will, that's going to be absolutely beautiful. But yeah, it's just beautiful here. There's a thin crescent moon over there at the moment, which will pretty much be gone by the time it gets dark. Because it's summer here in Victoria in Australia, it doesn't get dark till close to 10 p.m. properly dark, you know, and gives me plenty of time just to do a reconnaissance and just to sit here and absolutely marvel at the sights. Just love this. Now, I know I've talked about this blue hour before, but you know, as a nightscape photographer, I think it's really important to get your mind in the right place, just to be able to settle down and have a good look around, just to get a feel for the environment here. I'm a big believer that it's really hard just to rush into somewhere, get the gear out and start taking images without getting a bit of a connection to the place first. Now, as I said, I've been here plenty of times before, but at this time of night, it's special. It's just unique. There's no one around and it's just so peaceful. And so I can start to create and imagine in my mind, and that's what I need to do to get the best results. I've got all night. I've got plenty of time. So why not just take a little bit of time just to breathe in the fresh air, listen to the sounds of the water and the sounds of the birds nesting for the night. It's just great. Now, if you can see this, I'm looking at the app Photo Pills, and it's set currently on the current time, which is just after 9 p.m. Now, for my night to day time lapse I'm going to do later on, I'm just pushing through to find out where the Milky Way core is going to rise. Now at just about 5 a.m. in the morning, you can see the Milky Way core just over the top of the railway bridge. And just after that, twilight is going to start. And of course, by about 6 o'clock in the morning, the sun will be just about peeking its head over the horizon. But I'm hoping I can get all of that action, hopefully a little bit of cloud as well if it's there, and that will just look absolutely beautiful. Okay, well, I'm back here at the car. It's a little bit off getting properly dark, so I thought I might just run through some of the gear that I've got here with me for this adventure. So I'm going to be here for the whole night. I've got plenty of time to shoot different types of shots. And so, yeah, why not? I'll show you a few things. Firstly, I've got the drone. Now, I love getting some aerial shots for my vlogs, and this is a Mavic 2 Pro. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of kit. I've had it for a little while now, and it is absolutely awesome. Love it to bits. Now, as far as cameras go, this is the Nikon Z6, which I've been using for a couple of months now, and it's fantastic. This particular lens I've got here is the 24-70 f4 native Z mount, and I don't really use that for night photography, but for daytime photography, it's an absolutely beautiful lens. For night photography, I use the FTZ adapter. I've showed you that before, but here's an example of a lens I'm going to use later. That's the FTZ adapter on that, and this is a Samyang 24mm f1.4 lens. Now, I'm probably not going to shoot any images with that tonight, but I am going to use that for some video footage because I want to shoot this wide open at f1.4, and that'll give me some really bright images for video, which with this Z6 is phenomenal, great performer. Now, of course, I've got the trusty Nikon D750, and that's the Nikon 14-24 f2.8 lens. I'll use this for my time lapse when I shoot that later, mainly because the battery life on this is superior to the Z6, so it'll last longer, and I'm probably going to shoot that for anywhere between 3 and 4 hours, so I need a long battery life. Now, speaking of the time lapse, what I'm going to be using there to get that night to day time lapse is this gadget. This is the time lapse plus view. It's an intervalometer which ramps exposure so that it automatically changes the exposure and the shutter speed ISO between night conditions and daylight conditions. So that's a beautiful piece of equipment. I've had that for a little while now, and I've done some pretty good work with that. I'm happy with that. The other couple of things I've got here is some LED light panels, and you've seen these before. Big Sony battery. These will last for days, believe me. There's another one. This one's got the orange gel, which I use a lot, as you know, for low-level lighting. So these are great because you can just have them on a really low level, which is fantastic for the type of work that I often do, particularly for architectural, whether it's trees or buildings or whatever, where I want an uplight or a backlight. They are fantastic for that. For my other lighting, as you know, I use just a torch, a flashlight. And this is an LED Lenser P7.2. I've had this for a long time. I've used it a lot, and it is a really, really good torch. I've got the orange gel, which is a CTO, colour temperature orange gel over the front, which I use to balance out my white balance, because I set my camera white balance fairly cool usually, something like about a 34 to 3500 Kelvin, sometimes as high as 4000 Kelvin. But either way, it's still cooler than a daylight white balance, so that's why I have the gel. That's for light painting, and it's mainly for my fine art light painting, where I want to actually paint light into the scene. Now this torch, this is a beauty. This is a 1000 lumen rechargeable torch, and I don't do any light painting with this torch, but I use it just so I can see my way around in the dark. The other thing that it's really good for is to light up something that I want to focus on. So I just shine the torch on a building or structure or something that I want to be able to see through the live view screen. I use this bright torch for that. It's far better than the dimmer models that I have there. Apart from that, down here I've got my star tracker. Now I showed you this the other day in my last video. It's mounted on this massive tripod, which is heavy. But anyway, it does a good job. This is the Skywatcher Star Adventurer. A lot of you guys would have probably used this one, and it's a very, very good tracker. And I'm going to be using that later on. So, oh boy, it's heavy. So I'll put that one down there again. And that's doing a good job. Apart from that, I've just got light stands. I use a lot of light stands for my various video production. Also flashes. This is an example of a flash I might use to do a selfie or something like that. So I'll stick the light stand under that and put it there. It's also, this has got MagMod modifiers, and you might have heard of MagMod. They've got magnets, and they have gels, and they have CTOs, grids. Fantastic. They work really, really well, and I've used them a lot. Love those. And the other thing I've got is my sleeping arrangements. I've brought a mattress with me and some blankets, and I'm going to be having a nap later on because I'm going to be here all night. Oh, one more thing. I haven't used this yet, but this is a slider. I won't take it out, but it's a slider. So I'm going to put my video camera on that, and I can slide it from one side to the other and get a few cinematic moves happening. So we'll do that later on. We can use it for time-lapse as well, but I won't be using that tonight for time-lapse. Now, just so you know, I'm using a Panasonic G9 to film this at the moment. It's a great camera, a really, really nice camera with a 12 to 35 f 2.8 lens. And I use Sennheiser lapel radio microphones. You can't see them, it's hiding under my jumper here. I use them all the time. I don't use any on-camera microphones at all. It's always the radio system, so I can get it a long way away from the camera and it still works perfectly. So there you go. I've got a lot of other stuff in here, but that's pretty much a rundown of what I'm using and what I'm going to be using tonight. See how it goes. Okay, well I've just taken these shots here down by the old bridge, and I've set up the Z6 with the 20mm f1.8 lens with the FTZ adapter. I think it looks pretty good. I've done a number of shots light painted foregrounds, and I've taken a couple of background sky layers just to see which one looks best. I'm also going to play around a bit later with the tracker to take another shot of the background sky to try and get some more detail out of the Milky Way part that's over there where the Southern Cross is, and I'm going to try and see how that goes blended together with these shots I've just taken now. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just set this up now for a star trail, and I'm going to leave it for a while down here shooting away, and hopefully that'll look pretty good with the shots I've just taken as well. So let's get on to that. Alright, well I'm back at the car, and my next job is going to be to get the tracker out. I'm going to wait for that star trail to finish down there, and I'm going to get the tracker lined up and start getting some shots of various constellations. But you guys know me well enough to know that I've got to eat. So I've got the thermos here, I've got my cup of tea. I couldn't live without a cup of tea, I'll tell you what. And being out here in the middle of nowhere, all by myself, there's absolutely nothing better than a good old cuppa. It's pretty cold tonight. It's getting down to about 10 degrees overnight apparently. So for the middle of summer, that's pretty cold here. So anyway, let's have this cuppa, a few bickies, and we'll see how we go for after that. Okay, well I've set the tracker up, aligned it as best I can. Now I've just taken shots of Orion using the Z6 with the 85mm f1.8, taken 10 shots at 1 minute exposures, ISO 1600, and then I took 4 dark frames at the same settings with the lens cap on. Then I turned to the Southern Cross down there, changed the lens to the 50mm, did the exact same settings, ISO 1600, 60-second exposures, 4 dark frames after that. My next target is going to be the large Magellanic Cloud just up here, and I think I'll probably put the 85 back on for that. So let's get into it. Okay, so the big moment has arrived. This is the intervalometer set up for a night to day ramping time lapse. And I've got my Nikon D750 with the 14 to 24 f2.8 lens attached here. The time lapse plus view here on top. And it's going to go from 20-second exposures at f2.8 at ISO 2500, and it's going to ramp that all the way down to ISO 100, and the view is going to control the shutter speed. And what will happen is it will gradually lighten up everything as the sun comes up later on. Well, that's a theory, and I hope it works out. I'm pretty confident it will, so I'm just going to get it all happening now, so let's do it. All right, well, it's about 2:45 a.m. at the moment. I'm getting pretty tired, so the plan is to have a bit of a nap here in the car till about 4, and then I'm going to get back up again and maybe shoot a few other shots, see if I can get the Milky Way core rising up over the lake. At this time of year, there's not much core. It's really close to where the sun is at sunrise, so, but I'll give it a go, see what we can come up with. Anyway, I'll catch you guys a bit later. Well, as you can see behind me, the dawn is approaching. But it's been a fabulous night. It's just got a bit cold. I had my scarf on the first time this year, so that's been good. But I'm excited because that time lapse is still putting away down there. I'm not sure how many shots it's taken, but I'm pretty looking forward to seeing how that comes out. In the meantime, I think I'm finished shooting for the night otherwise. It's been fantastic. I've got about an hour and a half sleep tonight. That's about it. I feel good though, and yeah, but I think I get energized when I'm out here under the stars with a bit of a project like this, and I've done a fair bit tonight, so yeah, it's been great, really good. Okay, well, we've finally made it to the end of my adventure here at the Curran Reservoir, and featuring this beautiful old brick railway bridge. And it wasn't too long ago, the water was lapping right over the top of this bridge, so it's dropping at a rapid rate. And it's beautiful and warm here this morning. Now that the sun's come up, a far cry from what it was like earlier, about 2 hours ago when I was over there in the car with a bit of frost all over the place. Never mind, that's the things that we do. So I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here tonight. Haven't had much sleep, but that doesn't matter. I feel energized, I feel alive, and I feel really raring to go to see how these images all turn out and to get out on my next adventure. I've got quite a few adventures planned this year, road trips, etc. So I'd love you guys to come along for the ride. Please comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing more awesome stuff for you guys, Thanks very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys next time.